like now that the snares like eventually started to do it, like John would just like get mad, like, "What are you doing?" Like, yeah, like, and we're over here like cranking.
On this episode, we connect with Sergio Bravo. Sergio is a top percussionist that had an urge to document his journey through the marching arts. He's excited to share how that passion became a new outlet for the community.
All right, here we are with Sergio Bravo.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Noe.
Yeah, man. When was the last time you played Connect Four?
Oh man, I don't know. A while ago when I was still a wee bit old.
All right, man. Well, the first question's on your first buck on your left-hand side.
All right. Where were you born? I was born in the Philippines, in a city called Mandaluyong. Call it Crazy Town, actually. Funny enough. But yeah.
So what was your favorite part about growing up in the Philippines?
Well, I was only 5 when I moved, so I don't remember much, but my neighbor had a PlayStation 1, and this was like, I don't know, like late 90s, because I was born in 96, but he had a PlayStation, and he would charge the neighborhood like 10 pesos an hour, so I would go over there after bugging my mom for 10 pesos, like, yo, I want to play that's sick. That's like one of the small things I remember.
It was amazing.
Yeah. I guess that's my favorite. Who got you into the pageantry world? I was a freshman when I auditioned for Drumline, and I like showed up with drum set sticks because I didn't know any better. But yeah, I met the band director there, and I met a guy named Matt. And one of them told me to audition for like a local out of high school indoor group. I just went out one time, not with them or anything, but I showed up, and a few of the kids that I went to high school with were there, and they're like, "Wow, you showed up." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll see what it's all about."
That's like,
but that propelled me to figure out this whole drumline thing.
So did Matt and your band director also encourage you to audition for drum corps?
At the time, no. I got into indoor way before I got into drum corps. I started hearing about drum corps and like hearing about the names, but I had no idea like anything about drum corps. Like I just was all about the indoor scene. That's what I did. Yeah. Then I started meeting people that I was marching with that like I remember this guy named Mike Ortega. He's a huge influence in my life. I still see him whenever I go home. But he kind of helped me get into drum corps. But I heard about him before I even met him. And he already had done Mandarins in Academy. And so, you know, he was one of those people that kind of helped me go into drum corps. How many years of drum corps did you march? I marched 3 years. SCVC for my first, and then the last 2 at Mandarins.
And that's where I met you, dude.
Yeah, I met you at SCVC. Man, what would be a smart move for me?
Okay.
How many interviews have you done?
Like 6.
So you had 6 reps of that. 4.
Good move, man.
I'll take that with a grain of salt.
So you experienced a lot of change at the Mandarins in 2017 and 2018 where they finally made finals. Can you tell me a little bit about the mindset that went on within the group to kind of achieve that?
The biggest thing that I recall was like there was a huge staff change. So I knew that in some way, like the organization, they were willing to take strides and changes. And that's honestly what attracted me to go to the Mandarins was there was a lot of good staff changes that I thought would help me in my career learn and drum better. But ultimately, like the mindset wasn't any different. Like we had the mindset we were making finals and we were going to be the best, regardless of what the scores ended up being. So we were just focused in-house for sure. Just try to push whatever we did every day.
Yeah, just like really intrinsically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like who cares what the scores were at the show or where we end up? Like we're gonna be finalists, like at least in our hearts.
Yeah.
In 17, and then 18, it became a reality.
That's right.
So
Yeah, that's great.
all right, how many years of WGI did you march?
Name them all.
Name them all. Okay, Envision, based out of Reno, Nevada. And then Vanguard Winter Percussion at some point. Then NorCal Indoor, which was like a rebranding of Envision. And then I did Pulse Percussion. Yeah, all right. Do it. Oh boy! I didn't even see that. So it's over!
Not yet. We're still good. You're still cruising. Who did you first tell you made Pulse?
I was such in shock though, I don't even think I remember. But I did tell, my mom was one of the first people I told for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What did she say?
She was just hyped, like, she doesn't get it as much as like we might.
Of course.
But she knew I made the move. She knew that I like took my life out here to try.
Where was that move from?
Reno, Nevada.
So you moved from Reno out here just to do Pulse.
Yeah, I was like, this is my age out, and I thought I would just go for it. Like, it's my last year.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. So if I knew if I didn't try it, I probably would just wonder forever, because it's just a huge chunk of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah. Which way do I want to lose? At least this one I get a shot. Don't do it.
Sorry. So we'll keep this going.
Yeah.
Alright. Can you tell me a little bit about what downtime was like for the snares at Pulse in 2019?
Yeah. Well, I remember trying to get a lot of the Pulse guys to work out more. Like, we would be at rehearsal, and like the Viz or John or somebody that, you know, was working on something specifically for that moment, and it wasn't dealing with the snares, I would just start doing push-ups, or like, we had these props, so I would do like pull-ups on them. And even to the point where like now that the snares like eventually started to do it, like John would just like get mad, like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, like, and we're over here like cranking. So yeah, that was like one of the things we did while we weren't being worked with. I was trying to think.
Do you have any tips for someone auditioning for a group like Pulse?
There's a few things I've noticed that helped me, and one was just like obviously being prepared. Anyone can tell you that. Since I didn't know anybody, one of my goals was to try and get to know as many people at the audition as possible, just so they know who I am. Like, I wanted the staff to see who I was, who is this guy, be curious. Anything to get me in their heads. Because if I was serious about marching, which I was, like, I needed to get there. Like, I needed to be in people's minds. So I would try and just fit the vibe of the vets, and, you know, talk to them about how the staff's feeling and what the process is like. So I was a curious bug. I wasn't a fanboy. It wasn't like I was like, oh, this is so cool. It was like business for me. Like, I am trying to be in Pulse. I'm not trying to look at Pulse. You know what I mean? So I'd say, you know, be friendly. Try to be, essentially, be a good person to work with. Be known. Be communicative. And be prepared.
How did you continue to stay active in activity after your job?
I started MarchingVlogs. I started with Gridbook, Mark Perez specifically. Me and him were going back and forth over social media due to like the vlogs I was doing for Pulse and Mandarins, and he kind of just said it'd be cool if something like this was centralized, like something where other people can also share their experience. Like, you know, people vlog, but the way I did it was I got my Instagram, I posted on the story, and I would just post anything unedited, just like what was happening on the off time. Like, I didn't really explain what was happening. It was just like point and shoot. So there was some natural element to that, which Mark has told me that he appreciates. Like, he says that he still sees things nowadays that he was experiencing when he was marching back in the day. So he saw the value in that, and he just asked me like, who would do this? And I was like, well, I could do it. So that's essentially when MarchingVlogs was born, and that's kept me in the loop aside from teaching.
So what's a project you worked on with MarchingVlogs?
Probably most notable is like the MarchingVlogs drumline, or MVD, as people kind of throw it out there as. That was definitely the biggest project I've ever worked on in my life.
Yeah.
It was very fulfilling for sure, but also very stressful. It was special in the light that it almost felt like a normal season. It was super fulfilling, but like at the same time. So.
What inspired MarchingVlogs?
So the inspiration came from a vlog that I did in 2018. I would just record anything that I saw and put it on the story. And the whole goal for me was to like save them on the story, on the highlights, and then one day just go to this account and be able to like kind of see, like have a little portal and see what I was seeing and like hearing. And I didn't want to edit any of it. I wanted it to be like really natural.
Yeah.
So I just recorded whatever I could on the off time.
Oh, yeah.
And that sparked the idea of marching. Right. So, and then the rest is what it is now.
Oh, yeah. So what was it like to team up with Pacific Crest and create the MarchingVlogs drumline? What was that like? Yeah, I mean, it was great. Like everyone we dealt with at PC, they were more than helpful. Everybody, like scheduling things and making sure that everybody had what they needed at rehearsal in terms of like water and where to go to the bathroom, and how to open and lock up, just standard rehearsal things. Logistics, yeah, like that's awesome. And also liability stuff. Yeah, like they helped me because I'm just a young buck in my room trying to figure it out. You know, like they were like, you need to worry about insurance and like what's going to happen if someone gets hurt and how to take care of that, and you know, just paperwork, like legal things that I would not have thought about. Right? They were like, this is important. Yeah. Shout out to PC.
Shout out PC.
So what's a project you guys are currently working on?
Another side of MarchingVlogs that at least I've been trying to tap into is like actual production services. So right now, with all that experience, I'm trying to put another outlet of MarchingVlogs where maybe, you know, people who have recitals, or if a drum line needs to get recorded, or if somebody just wants to perform live, like I am trying to find a way to make that a service through MarchingVlogs. And that's like what's really been going on right now, is figuring all that out.
And you recently just did one with Chino Hill, right?
They are the first commissioned drumline by MarchingVlogs to have something recorded and edited fully by the team.
So what's your favorite part about MarchingVlogs?
Definitely the stories, like the people really, because every takeover that I see, it's like a new insight on somebody's experience. Like something I always talk to the vloggers about when doing a takeover is I try to like emphasize that this takeover is about them, like the individual. While like, you know, it could be about the ensemble, like there's aspects of that for sure because it is MarchingVlogs, but it's more about their experience within that ensemble. And so I always tell them, like, don't be afraid to talk about yourself and what else you're doing and how you prepare for rehearsal. And that's really interesting for me to like see, because we only see our experiences, right? Yeah. So
everyone has like their own individual like little routine before rehearsal. Yeah, that's exactly. Really interesting for sure. All right, man. Thank you for being here again. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You can reach out on any of those platforms. Facebook too. At MarchingVlogs.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. You can do the honors. You can pull this little tab towards you.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the pastime link for more marching arts content.